Oh, yeah. It's that time again. On a muggy Wednesday. How are you, folks? Nick DiPaolo podcast. Should I try to sit back? I don't know. I have the posture of a jumbo shrimp, as I once said, and it's a nice $4 necktie, too. Anyways, how you doing? Good to be with you. 888-599-NICK. 888-599-6425 is the phone number if you'd like to join into the show. I got to thank you guys. I really do. I mean, I'll thank you officially, but the subscriptions are going through the roof. And you know what that means? There's a need for this show. That's all that means. There's a need for the show because there aren't many places where you can be politically incorrect. Another way of saying that is leaning right in your politics and being for the truth and not the fucking lying horseshit you hear on MSNBC, NBC, CNN, ABC, CBS, LA Times, New York Times. You know what I'm talking about. And that's why the Sirius show got so popular so fast. And I think they might have had a problem with it getting that popular that fast. They put me on at 8 o'clock and was hoping I'd just play quietly and nobody would hear it, but they did. So, you know, here I am. Look at that studio. Look at it. Look at that. Look at that. That's Legos, by the way. That's all Legos. 2 of my nephews did that. They're in their 40s. Gives you an idea where I am. Oh, here we go. This mouse. I have had enough technology. I really wish I was born in seriously, 1766. I would have spent the day churning my own butter today and visiting people in the stockade. Hold on, let me move my page. I have to pull this up and zoom it to like 11 so I can see. That's where I am. That's the one thing I noticed. I watched the last couple shows, some of them, and the fucking glasses. I'd rather have cancer of the pancreas than be farsighted. I put these things on. Is there anything unsexier? Not that this is about sex at this point in my life, but let's be serious. This does not get anybody wet or hard. Hi, how are you? What's milk go for in here? Buck and a half a gallon? Official thank yous. These are called shout-outs. These are the people who joined the Michael Corleone level, level 3, $30 a month. And part of the benefits of doing that, and by the way, we have a ton of them. So you get your name mentioned on the show, which people like, and they deserve it. S. Jersey Matt. I'll call him South Jersey Matt. I'm keeping the glasses off. Probably getting these names completely wrong. Vince Jacobo. Steve Daly, otherwise known as Uncle Steve around kindergartens. That's creepy. Gary Anderson. Pretty sure it's not the field goal kicker. Might be. I don't know. He kicks lefty, but maybe he's a righty politically. I don't know. And Robert Schlueter. Those last 2 names I recognize from the old podcast. They've been behind me for a long time. Those are your shout-outs. Guys, thank you so much for subbing at any level. Fredo. And there's nothing wrong with being a Fredo. Fredo had some good points. He was banging cocktail waitresses 2 at a time. So somebody liked the prick. How do you say banana daiquiri, Mike? We had the 2 twinks, Jason and Ryan. They weren't that familiar with The Godfather. That was their first training. They had to watch that 6-7 times, reenact it with their parents in the kitchen and shit. And I heard it went pretty good. My tour dates, as far as stand-up, which I haven't been doing much of, I got to be honest. Think about going into the city tonight, maybe. I don't know. I just have to get out of the goddamn house. Wednesday, July 18th and Thursday, the 19th, I'm going to be at the Village Underground. That's the Comedy Cellar satellite room right around the corner. You know the Village Underground. And then Wednesday, July 25th, the Fat Black Pussycat, which is connected to the Village Underground. And Saturday, July 28th, the Fat Black Pussycat also. Friday, September 14th, Arlington Draft House, Arlington, Virginia. One of my favorite gigs. It's an old movie theater. People sit in seats. They're like old car seats. They're like they pulled seats out of a Lincoln. It's one of my favorite gigs. When somebody wants to heckle, they pull the handle on the recliner and they sit up like this saying, hey, you suck. It's a great place. And what else? Friday, September 21st, the Orpheum Theater in Flagstaff, Arizona. The night before, I'm doing a corporate gig somewhere in Phoenix. And Sunday, September 23rd, House of Comedy in Phoenix. And that Saturday, the 22nd, I'm doing something. There's a comedy festival there. I don't have the exact venue yet. My agent sent it. I don't know if I wrote it down or not. But I will see you guys in September in the Phoenix area when it dips into the low 100s. Can't wait. Still love stand-up. Love this, but stand-up, there's nothing like it. Snorting coke before the show and getting high with kids half your age after the show. You can't beat it. 888-599-NICK is the phone number. I had, before I get to the news, or whatever we want to call it, I had the septic tank guys come out today and empty my septic tank. I want to ask you a question. Who came up with the concept of a septic tank? I was watching these guys. Hey, can you guys come up with an invention where every time I flush my shit, it collects in a box somewhere on my property? So when the wind blows and I have the window open, I'm eating beef stew. Could you guys do that for me? I don't understand it, but I live at the end of a private road, and it's really pretty gross. But I was watching the guy a couple of years ago. He took the lid off, and I was looking in there, and I was thinking it's like a time capsule. Everything's in there. You could base a one-man show on your septic tank. There's good times, it's birthday cakes, and then tampons float by, bad times, and it's like a time capsule. It's sort of like the Smithsonian, only based in shit and pee. But I want to know who came up with that and why it's on my property. But these guys came out. It backed up when we first moved into the house. There was a clog in the pipe. This guy came out. There was a foot of snow on my front lawn. And I'm like, this guy's never going to get this done. The ground's frozen. This guy was out there for like 7 hours. He found it under the snow. I didn't even know where the opening was. I watched this guy put together this snake one piece at a time, links of like a chain, and then fed it into the chain was freezing up. He's using a torch, a welding torch, to loosen the links on the chain. And I'm like, this guy's just not going to, there's no way this is going to work. Sure enough, he hit something in there. Piece of tube steak or whatever, and the dam burst and it worked again. Those are the people that make this country great, folks. Those people that do those jobs, God bless their souls. And hardly elites, let's put it that way. But if I had hands like that, I try to put an office chair together for my wife, and I'm not going to take full blame for this today, okay? It's an office chair. There's the bottom and a back, and the pipe it sits on the wheels, basically. And they color-coded all the screws that came with it, but there were no directions, none. No directions in the thing, and they didn't color-code the holes that the screw, otherwise the colors mean nothing. So cut to me 3.5 hours later for a 20-minute job, bleeding from my knuckles and forehead to put an office chair together. I'm disappointed in myself and my ability as a man to do shit like that. Best thing I ever did was install a toilet, which a monkey could do. I don't know why I'm on a septic tank toilet rant, but I'm just saying. I went on the video online on Home Depot, how to install a toilet. Of course, in the video, there's a guy in a room that's like 300 feet by 400 feet. The toilet's in the middle of the room, nothing in its way, and it's crystal clear. He takes the old toilet off. You could eat off it. It was so clean. I took my toilet off. This is where I found a pair of like 60-year-old reading glasses and a mouse skeleton. And the toilet, this house was built in 1937. The toilet was jammed in the corner. I couldn't get in there. There's a girl with an eating disorder up the street. I had her come in. She's got anorexia. She got in there very nice and helped me put the wax ring on and whatnot. So, anyways, that's all I have to say about that. I just wanted to bullshit at the top of the show. I teased this story yesterday about Cal Poly SLO. Cal Poly San Luis Obispo University. They're making a big push for diversity and inclusion on campus. Wow, you're breaking some fucking ground there. I guess that means there's still a few white people left on campus, and we want to bring that average GPA down. And I teased it yesterday. I just want to hit you with a point here. Literally, In keeping with the diversity and inclusion movement sweeping campuses across the country, Cal Poly SLO, we'll call it, recently released a 30-page report outlining plans to improve diversity through a bunch of initiatives. I'll cut to the meat of it. They want to get it down. They want to get the numbers in line with the percentage of white people as far as population goes in the city. So, to further advance its goals of reflecting the demographics of California and creating a more diverse and inclusive campus community, how could it get any more fucking diverse or inclusive? Well, I'll tell you how. They have developed the following Diversity Action Initiatives document. In its administration details a multi-year effort with dozens of initiatives, including ones to further lower the percentage of white students on campus and increase the number of faculty of color.
No, they're ignorant. That's ignorant.
Yeah, it is. For students, the school plans on recruiting applicants more heavily based on race. That's called discrimination. Didn't the Supreme Court just rule on something like this at Harvard? Asians brought a suit. Asians are getting fucked at Harvard. They could have twice the grades of a minority and still not get in. Because it's important to black and brown everything, I guess. I don't know. It's just unbelievable. But here they go right after a whitey. For instance, the school has recently implemented several new scholarships aimed at recruiting more African American and other underrepresented minorities. It also working to recruit low-income and first-generation students. Why don't you just go to the border with a van in Arizona or San Diego, and you can fill the campus in 3 seconds? You're really setting the bar. Low-income and first-generation students by partnering with high schools that enroll a high percentage of these students. Where's the part about really hating on whitey? And the college announced its intention of forcibly increasing diversity in traditionally male-dominated majors. So not only they want it less white, they want it less male. Jesus H.
No, 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 no. No, 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 not this fucking time. No fucking way, no fucking way, no fucking way, no fucking way, mate.
This fall, campus leaders will require a diversity statement from candidates for all faculty and staff searches, the report stated. It adds that search committees will now be made up of diverse membership in academic affairs, has set an expectation that search committees will be based on best practices regarding diversity. For instance, the document calls for the implementation of pre-enrollment diversity training for new first-year and transfer students. This diversity training, anytime you had diversity, you know what that means. That means get out whitey. Will be in addition to the 2 mandatory orientation programs, Slow Days, SLO, San Luis Obispo, and Weeks of Welcome. But they literally, it's literally in writing that the campus is too white. And they're basing admissions on race instead of how good a student you are. If the top 2,000 students in the country, the brightest ones, happen to be all black, then it should be all black let in, or all Asian, or all white, or a mixture thereof. I don't understand the left. When whitey back in the day was discriminating and doing shit like that, it was wrong. But now it suits your purpose, and it's right. It's fucking disgusting, and it really irritates me.
But could I grab this microphone? I'd beat your brains out with it because that's what you deserve. That's what you deserve.
I went to UMaine. They took anybody and everybody. There were people up there with one leg of all races. They needed the money. It was you had to debone a moose in under 20 minutes, I think. That was the to get in, and everybody was represented. But this is out and out legal discrimination. You guys should be California. You're losing your goddamn mind. How anybody still lives there that is white, other than the elites, the Zuckerbergs and the Silicon Valley people who make $1 trillion a minute? I understand, and I'm going to be doing another story later on about what they're doing in Stockton, California. They're giving people a $500 stipend, people who are unemployed. Just a $500 universal income. They're trying that out in Stockton. It's such a rundown town. $500 for doing nothing, and you can spend it any way you want. And I guess Zuckerberg's partner, a co-founder of Facebook, is actually, it's some of his dough. But he's not going to do that forever. Eventually, it's taxpayer money. So think about that when you're getting up at the crack of your ass to go to work. Somebody's getting a check for $500 and never leaving the fucking house. I'm telling you. What is going on? Pretty loud, fellas. Probably blew your ears out with that, huh? I could sit back. But then people will see this fucking necktie. Let's go to, what do we got? Ryan in Portland, Maine. Ryan in Portland, Maine on our line, too. Ryan, how you doing? Good to see you. How you feel?
Hey, Nick. How you doing? Good. I was calling because I got to see you at Jonathan's at Gunquit, I don't know, like a month ago or whatever.
Yeah.
And took my dad, who's not really a big comedy guy, but he definitely aligns with you politically. And that was like one of the funniest shows I've ever seen, man. It was great, dude.
I appreciate you coming out and bringing your dad. How do you align politically? Look, Ryan, like what I'm guessing you were listening to me while you're on hold. I don't even know how the show works, but do you have a problem with...
Yeah, I was getting some dinner ready, but yeah.
Let me guess, lobster.
I was listening.
Well, how do you feel about feel about universities literally legalizing discrimination because they want the campus less white? I mean, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. Well, see, me, I went to school in North Carolina at High Point, and that was, it was definitely pretty white, but we were surrounded by a lot of inner city. You know what I mean? It was definitely, we got integrated that way.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make any sense to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm asking you because I'm guessing, how old are you?
I'm 23.
Take your time answering that. You're 23, so because a lot of your generation buys into this horse shit. They think, whiteys have their time.
Oh, yeah, no, I would say... Yeah, dude, like, people that were, like, of my, like, like, when I was younger, like, clique or whatever, probably now, like, they would probably be saying the opposite of what I'm saying just to be, like, accepted, you know what I mean? They wouldn't be sticking up for it, but it doesn't make any sense. But it's just because they've been, I don't know, they probably feel like they've been handed it or whatever, you know what I mean? So they just want to say the opposite to...
Yeah, and that's why I asked you that. That's why I asked you that, because I remember I was talking to Joe List, my comedian buddy, and he was hanging out with some of his fellas.
Oh, yeah, I love Joe List.
And he said one of the comics he's hanging out said, I was thinking about moving to Seattle, but there's not enough black people there. I mean, if that's not evidence of a complete... Why does that matter? Why does that matter? I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Your dad enjoyed the show?
Yeah, fuck that, dude.
Yeah. Who, fuck your dad?
Yeah, oh yeah, no, actually, he went to UMaine, too, and played football. He's a little bit older than you.
Wait a minute, what's your old man's name?
Cassidy, Gerard Cassidy.
Gerard Cassidy, don't remember him. I played with the Butch Cassidy. Guy could run like a motherfucker.
He was probably... Yeah, it's not my daddy. I don't think he could run like a motherfucker. But
of course not. He's white. He's from Maine.
Years ahead of you.
All right.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Ryan. Well, thank you for calling the show, and thanks for coming out to Jonathan's.
Let you know.
Appreciate it, buddy. Have a good day.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
You got it. Hey, Algonquin, Maine, by the way, is a big gay hangout, and it was the best gig of the Nick is Right tour that me and Fiore did. Algonquin, Maine. It's a real big gay hangout in the summertime, and people. I remember talking to the owner, and he said he actually got a few emails before I even got up there. A few days before, saying, "Why are you having him? Do you know his politics?" And again, more closed-mindedness. This is the shit we have to deal with. And by the way, it was packed, and it was the best show. I'm not just saying it was the best show of the whole tour, and would love to do it again. Because, again, it's comedy, and words can't hurt, and there was nothing homophobic about it. I'm in show business. I have more gay friends than Kelly Ripa. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say that. And it was great, and I was taking pictures with everybody after the show. Nobody hit me with their sandals or their purse. It was tremendous. But this is absolutely fucking ludicrous. This is a public school, too, by the way. So I'm expecting people who went there, alumni or people who donate money to the school. I would think that would dry up after hearing this. But I feel bad for California because I love the state. I went out to San Francisco, did comedy there in the early 90s twice a year, and it was my favorite city. And then I see the pictures now of human shit all over the streets and needles and stuff, and literally businesses aren't holding conventions in California because they're obsessed with this type of thinking. They're stuck. They're progressives, but ironically, they're stuck in a fucking time warp. This bean counting. And a campus racially has to be proportional to that community racially. Think about if a school in North Dakota, which is whiter than Maine, think about if they followed this logic and said, we want the campus to reflect the amount of, white people, percentage-wise. And you wouldn't see a person of color in some schools in North Dakota and Utah. Think about it that way. Am I making any sense? I don't know. By the way, we got a couple good stories coming up. Papa John's in trouble. It's something to do with the N-word. So what a world we're living in. Pacman Jones apparently had to play some defense at the Atlanta airport. We'll get to that in a second. Adam Pacman Jones, I guess he's the victim, which I find that hard to believe. But we actually have footage. So, but let me take another call before we get to that. Vinny in Bristol, Connecticut. Vinny, welcome to the show. How's your stem? Vinny, I'm sorry. How about if I click the goddamn... Vinny, sorry.
Hey.
What's up?
It's okay. Hey, so I saw you in New Haven about a month and a half ago or so.
In New Haven. What? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you were in New Haven, maybe.
Downtown at the theater.
Oh,
yeah.
You were fucking great. Yeah, you were fucking great, by the way.
Thank you, Vinny. I appreciate it. Well, what was
that?
it? Was it the Schubert Theater? Is that
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, that's what it was, yeah.
And
so I actually wanted to call in, I'm 36 years old, and I was actually called a racist for the first time in my 36 years of life.
First of all, I don't believe that. You got to believe you were called it before that, even if you weren't racist.
No.
Never?
I know. You would figure in this day and age, I called that earlier, but
what are you, pussy?
A racist. Yeah, exactly.
What are you, pussy? You're not playing hard enough. Nobody's called you a racist. You're 36. You've been hiding. Come on out, Vinny. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm a racist and a pussy.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I was at work the other day, and I was working in a factory that's primarily a lot of minorities work there or whatever, which is fine. And I was pretty much the only white guy in the area, and I had this black guy getting in my face about something, and I didn't know what it was, and he had a problem with the fact that I didn't say excuse me when I walked by him.
Oh, God.
And so anyway, he was blocking the only entrance in the area that I was working in, moving supplies in and out of the area.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, man, did you guys move? And he's like, I'm not fucking moving. I'm like, well, how do you expect me to get the materials in and out of the area? He goes, I don't know, you fucking figure it out. I'm like, I'm still trying to figure out why you're such an asshole.
Yeah.
And anyway, so the everything escalates, and then he basically told me, he's like, oh, what's the matter? You don't like black guys, you don't like this, you don't like that, blah blah blah. And are you, you're a racist? I mean, he called me a racist in front of everybody I work with. Just shouted me out like you're a racist and this and that, and I was just like, what the fuck just happened? I don't even know what happened.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. Let me tell you what happened. Okay. Ironically, obviously, he's the racist. He hates white people. He provoked you. He blocked the door, and you called him on it. But in his world, in most of the situations, white people just shut their mouths and take it. So we've created an environment that's so touchy that now that you actually defend yourself or your position, he thinks that makes you racist because he's been coddled and nobody's probably challenged him his whole goddamn life. And he's the racist.
Well, that's the thing, too, is like...
Based on your story.
He had said that, I turned around... I said I basically said, like, I think the shoe's on the other foot because I'm the only white guy that works here in this area, and you're the only one that gives me any shit. So I think you're the actual racist here.
And what did he say to that?
And then he proceeded to call me a faggot, and hey, what's that?
Go ahead. It's a 1 hour show. I'm hoping it ends in gunfire at this point.
No gunfire, unfortunately. He just called me a faggot and trying to, choke me out and whatnot,
Yeah. And is he still working there?
So, yeah, no, I'm not, actually.
No, is he still working there?
Oh, is he still working there? Yeah, no, he's still working there. Because if I said anything, I'd be the bad guy.
I don't know.
If I spoke to upper management and said, like, this guy's giving me a problem, I would be the one that's the bad guy for ratting out, for saying anything. Yeah, I'm the white guy saying anything, saying something bad about the black guy. I'd be the bad guy.
Well, you would.
Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because because if they fired him, if they got the truth and found out he was at fault and wanted to can him, then they get a lawsuit against him. So that's where we are. Hey, thank you for the call, but it was pretty interesting. I appreciate it, and thanks for coming out to the to the Schubert. I appreciate it. But that's the times we're living in. I mean, there's a lot of bullying like that going on. And there's linguistic bullying I call too, like when people, some guy was using the term colored people, which is anachronistic, but black people call themselves people of color. And then you say colored people. I call that linguistic bullying. That's it. It's just the times we're in. And I've said it 1,000 times, one-on-one we all get along great. Let's be honest. We all, black people, white people, pretty much we all get along pretty good. But once it gets into groups, and that's done by identity politics, like the shit going on at Cal Poly Slow, where how's that going to help race relations, really? California, I don't know what the fuck is going on. But you got to lighten up. You're obsessed with diversity and enough is enough. Let's just go to work. Johnny the Greek in South Korea. I don't know if he's serious or not. This will be a real test of the phone system. What are you, in Seoul, Johnny?
Absolutely. No, I'm not. Absolutely. I used to call you when you were on the Nick and Artie show, dude. How you been?
What's happening? Where are you now?
Not too. Oh, I'm actually in Seoul. That's right.
Oh, I thought you were kidding. Beautiful. What can I do for you?
No, absolutely. Well, it's like a comedy question. I hate to lighten it up a little bit. Maybe it won't be light based on the question I asked you.
That's all right.
But considering the way that PCification of comedy has manifested itself over the last, I don't know, few years, you'd be one of the guys to know one way or the other. Yeah. Do you think eventually the pendulum's going to go the other way and it's going to get a lot dirtier and a lot more, for lack of a better word, they start to call it cringe now, cringe comedy, I suppose. Do you think it's going to go the other way on purpose and people will start accepting it again? Because it's really horrendous going into these clubs and seeing people a fear for whatever words coming out of their mouth that they're not going to trigger somebody.
But let me stop.
Put an audience member in the fetal position.
Yeah, but let me stop you right there because you made a mistake that a lot of people make, confusing unpolitically correct humor with just dirty, which it's not. The dirty is always going to be there and is always going to work. That's not being politically incorrect. Being politically incorrect when you talk about race or gender and you go against, the hashtag Me Too or the hypersensitivity when it comes to race and shit. That's being politically incorrect. As far as doing blowjob jokes and talking about sex and shit, that's not politically incorrect. That's just people find it inappropriate. That's a whole different issue. But is the pendulum ever going to swing? Right. Not as long as the media is 98% fucking liberal. It's going to take a long time. You ask a great question because I did my first open mic back in 1987, I think, and I done about 6 months open mics, and somebody came up to me and said, "You're really you're politically incorrect, and that's the wave of the future." And that was in 1987. Think about that. And I remember saying to him, I don't think so. Yeah. I said it's going to get a lot worse. So it's going to take a lot for it to swing back. But yeah, I'm sure people are getting fed up. People are it's getting so crazy that liberals are attacking liberals. So we're making some headway. How long that's going to take, I have no fucking idea. But the PC movement, I'll say it again, it came about to silence guys like me, straight, white, heterosexual males. I don't see too many black comics getting in trouble for picking on white people, and female comics saying bad shit about men, and gay comics making fun of straight people. It doesn't really affect the... Let's be honest. It was created to silence, sort of guys about my sensibilities. But hopefully it will swing around because this shit's exhausting, isn't it?
You got it.
Johnny, good call.
Thanks so much, Nick. I appreciate it.
Hey,
thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for calling from South Korea, man. And thank God Trump went over and straightened shit out, or you could have been in trouble. All right, Johnny, take care. Hey, California. And I was going to do the story, but I want to get to the good stuff. This is the Stockton, California, sending poor people $500 a month in an experimental welfare program. We'll get to that to another time. I wanted to get to this story. Pizza. Although that's Little Caesars, I realize. But Papa John's, John Schnatter, seen him in all the commercials and shit. Well, apparently he's in deep shit. Something to do with the N-word. And his stock was down more than 4% today, following a report that John Schnatter, allegedly made a racist comment during a May conference call in which he was receiving public relations training from an outside marketing firm. The controversial restaurateur who in January, remember he got in some shit about the national anthem, and that hurt his stock too. But apparently he said in one of the meetings, Colonel Sanders called blacks niggers and never faced backlash. This is according to Forbes, which first reported the incident. Schnatter also reflected on his youth growing up in Indiana. Indiana's hardcore. That's like the home of the Klan, isn't it? I'm not picking on you people in Indiana, but I'm just saying it made more sense when I heard that. Allegedly said on the conference call that people used to drag African Americans from trucks until they died, according to the Forbes report, which claimed that Schnatter shared the story in a misguided effort to show his distaste for racism, which is exactly right. No one's going to tell me in this day and age the CEO of Papa John's said at a meeting, we could fucking start dragging behind trucks again. He was obviously, if you put it in context, but once again, the media jumps right on it, and you have to put it into context. I don't get the Colonel Sanders crack that, I don't know how that fits in there. We have to get transcribe the whole fucking meeting. But it reminded me that this is classic. This is classic like old New York. The Italian pizza maker having a problem with young black guys and shit. It reminded me of a movie. Remember Do the Right Thing? You remember that? We got that clip? This is some...
Yo, put some extra mozzarella on that motherfucker and shit.
Extra cheese is $2.
That was John Schnatter having a... put some extra mozzarella on that motherfucker. But I gotta believe, he was taken out of context. He didn't go in there and fucking draw... Colonel Sanders probably did say the N-word because he gave black people the what's it called? The secret recipe. You guys are all looking at me. Are you from the fucking United States? The twinks are looking at me like, have you ever... Colonel... Anyways, representatives of the outside marketing firm Laundry Service declined to comment on the incident, but owner Casey Wasserman terminated the company's contract with Papa John's, according to the report. Really? So it was just out-and-out racism? There's no... You can't put this in any context? I find it hard to believe. I'm not saying he's the brightest guy in the world. But then Papa John's made a statement, as these companies always have to do. Papa John's condemns racism and any insensitive language, no matter the situation or setting. Diversity is an essential ingredient in our pursuit of providing a better product and better service to our customers and to the communities where we operate and live. We take great pride in the diversity of the Papa John's family. though diversity and inclusion is an area where we will continue to strive to do better. So let's see what happens. I know the stock got hurt a little bit today, but let's see if there's a national boycott. And again, until none of us know the true story and what context he said it, and I don't believe he went and started dropping the N-bomb. Although he is from Indiana, you never know. But let's see how bad. If Starbucks can get in trouble, that politically correct shithole. Nothing makes me angrier as a person who leans right when I walk by a Starbucks and I look in that glass window and there's 22 broads wearing those Janine Garofalo glasses, sipping their $8 coffees on their fucking computers, and they just look out the window like I'm a fucking peasant, and that's why I press my ham against it. What? You should see the faces on these two guys. 888-599-6425 is the phone number. So, yeah, Papa John's rocked again. I look at him now. I always thought, I don't know, I assume, this is racist on my part. He was a nice Italian guy, but John Schnatter from Indiana. My wife's making weird faces at me now, and it's kind of disgusting. Now she's fucking mad. Hey, what's new? So Papa John's, I had your pizza many times on the road when it's, I've got 19 beers in me and there's nothing else open. And I got to be honest, the crust is a little soft for my taste. Should add a little more racism to the powder. It's too spicy. But I don't believe it. I want the full story. I'm sure it was taken out of context, but Mrs. Wasserman, the person that ran the public relations firm, naturally she just shit-canned the account. It's got to be true. A white fella said it. Let's go to Sam in Florida. Sam, college students want to discuss life on liberal campus. What's up?
Hey, Nick. How are you doing tonight?
Good. How you doing, Sam? What's it like? Are you a college-age guy?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of yours, and first of all, I wanted to let you know that not all of the millennials are brainwashed, liberal retards. A lot of us are sick of this political correctness.
No, hold on. No, you're right. You're right. I never said all, but when I read polls, and I've read them many times, where almost 40% of millennials have a problem with the First Amendment and free speech and are in favor of curbing it. It's too many. That's too many. Way too many. But you're right. Not all millennials are PC pussies. I agree with that. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I hear you. It kind of makes me depressed because I feel like I'm in the minority and I'm alone. But it gets ridiculous because I had to take a college English course a few years ago, and they made me write a paper on the effects of global warming. Now, keep in mind, this was for an English class, not for like science class or anything like that. And
right.
It's also hard as hell to start a college Republicans, organization on campus too, just because of the bureaucracy
right.
of the administration.
Right.
So.
But your point being that. You're saying there's a good number of you millennials on campus who don't buy into this PC horseshit. But don't you think on the average college campus you're outnumbered? Safe to say.
Yeah, I mean, I know, but I'm one of the people who, I'm willing to speak out about my conservative opinions because I really don't care. But there are a lot more millennials out there who are more conservative libertarianish who, don't want to say anything because they think that their grades will get dinged or whatever. So,
well, how can
which is also possibly true.
Okay, but can I just say, and I understand that, but if you don't say anything because you're afraid your grades, you're being intimidated into fucking silence. So fight back, whether it's keying the professor's car or something. Do something. You can't just keep your mouth shut. You have to make it known your professors are fucking with you. Otherwise, this is going to go on. This is how we got to this point. Threaten the fucking chancellor's cat Do something.
Or, inviting Paolo to do a comedy, stand-up night on your campus. That would be another way to intimidate them too.
Yeah.
To fight back against the left, I should say.
I'll do it. What's the college?
State College of Florida. It's a community campus, but I know it's tough. Not even Jerry Seinfeld wants to do campuses.
That's why I said this about millennials, and again, not all of yous, but most of yous. I say, congratulations, millennials. You're the first generation that finds Seinfeld too fucking edgy, you pussies. I mean, hey, who uses cotton balls? I don't know, but cotton's picked by black people, Jerry. You better be careful. All right, Sam, I got to go. Your phone's coming in and out, but keep your chin up out there, and if your professor gives you any guff, kick her in the sandals for me. All righty. Step on her hairy toes, or his. I always picture the lib professor with the sports jacket. He's got the padded elbows. You know, that type of horseshit. Not up at Maine. They were all hippies up at Maine. We couldn't tell. Our buddy, wild man, Pacman Jones, otherwise known as Adam Jones now. You know who he is. NFL player who's been in trouble with the law on tons of occasions. Well, he got into it, I think, airport in Atlanta. And in this story, I think it was TMZ, making him out to be the victim, which is fucking priceless to me. A man named Frank Reagan, or Rajan, I'd go with Rajan, it's more appropriate, has done the impossible, made Adam Pacman Jones the good guy, at least in the eyes of the law. According to TMZ, an employee at a cleaning company, that's Reagan, ABM is the company, made a gesture towards the former Bengals cornerback at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport in Atlanta on Tuesday night. Jones confronted Rajan verbally, and then things escalated. What kind of gesture do you make? What kind of exactly? I'm sure he didn't go, "Hey, Pac-Man, I'm over here. Can I get an autograph?" I'm guessing it was one of these. Something out of the hood. Fucking. Is that racist? Oh, I hope not. But what kind of gesture? Can you? Did anybody ask Pac-Man that? I mean, maybe it was just this. The brothers get a little fucking sensitive with each other, you know. Don't ever step on a brother's foot, in the VIP room at a titty bar. You'll end up in deep shat. We actually have some footage of the altercation, and apparently the guy got physical with Pac-Man. Is the last guy that you want to get involved with, by the way. And I just want to tell you women out there, if your guy gets in a fight, don't do what Pac-Man's girlfriend or whoever the broad was that he was with. Don't fucking do this, because you're not helping your guy. You're gonna end up getting him killed. Although it's Pac-Man, I'm sure he can handle it. But here's the footage at Atlanta Airport. And what scares me, this guy works at Atlanta Airport that's trying to beat up Pacman John. That's the fucking... I'm sure his grades were tremendous when he handed in the resume. Jesus H. Christ! Sorry, guys. Go ahead, roll it.
We're gonna pick it up.
I think that's the guy from Papa John's he got into it with. No, black guy. I got to be honest with those punches weren't too manly. For Pac-Man, I mean, straight out of the fucking hood, or Mr. Reagan, or Reagan, however you pronounce his name. I was a little disappointed. They were throwing like girly haymakers, were they not? One of them landed, I guess, or whatever. But I want to know.
I think his form was a little off there.
It looked like a slap fight at a sorority.
It looked like he was winding up to throw a pitch. It was weird.
Yeah.
But I think the guy was throwing up some politically incorrect gang signs, and that kind of triggered him.
Well, that was my guess. Did you come up with that right after I did that? Yeah, I mean, this shit. I couldn't join a gang. I have carpal tunnel to begin with. I couldn't. What's up, West Side, yo?
That's really offensive. Please stop.
Yeah, fuck you. Anyways. I'm telling you, man. But Pacman has been in a ton. He's not a fucking nice, good, hell of a football player, but he's free agent again. He's a free agent every year because he has a lot of problems, but he can play football. The NFL, and by the way, LaShawn McCoy, running back, he's in the news. Allegedly sent somebody to his ex-girlfriend's house to get jewelry back that he gave her, and they pistol whipped her. There's a picture, her face caved in, and the NFL is just, I don't know. They don't vet, as Trump says. There's not much vetting going on. So anyways, I guess it caused a laceration to Mr. Jones' face. I know the feeling. What the hell else? That's the lawyer talking, of course. Mr. Jones then started to defend himself, causing Mr. Reagent to fall on the ground. Reagent was arrested for 2 counts of battery as he also hit a woman who was with Jones. She had some backside, didn't she? She had an ass on her like a fucking Detroit Lions fullback. That's a good thing, by the way. That was a compliment. Don't take that the wrong way. Anyways, Jones, a free agent, one of the most controversial players, getting arrested and suspended many times since being drafted in 2000. He missed the entire 2007 season for numerous violations. The NFL's personal conduct policy included his involvement in a strip club fight that left a man paralyzed. He was making it rain in the club. Some shit broke out. Seriously, it went outside. It spilled outside. He shot from a car, and I remember he paralyzed the doorman, who was from Long Island, I believe, if I got that right. I pulled up his arrest record. Can we pull that up or no? Huh? 1 second. The twinks in there are going to pull it up. And this is a mild... This isn't Pac Jones' record like in high school and in college and shit, but let's just skim over it. Let's see. But after a bunch of arrests early in his career, Pacman settled into a nice little kick returner. The bulk of his criminal exploits happened in strip clubs. Really? Didn't happen at the Pottery Barn or One Potato Two? It happened at titty bars? I can read it, guys, if it's too much trouble. I didn't really give you a heads up on the article, but first he was charged with assault and felony vandalism in 2005. Then he violated the probation stemming from the charge. On another occasion, he spit in a woman's face while intoxicated and was charged with disorderly conduct, and that was in 2006. Pacman followed that up by making it rain in a Vegas strip club, which led to a shootout that left a man paralyzed because Jones wanted to take his money back. Even I know as a white fella, you can't make it rain at a titty bar and think you're going to get the rain back. I tried that shit at an AP and soup market, and I was making it rain with the cornflakes, and then they still wanted to charge me. Remember that, honey? NFL suspended him for a year, but wait, there's more. Jones got into a fight with his bodyguards because he was drunk and received another year-long suspension. We still don't know how he still has a job in the NFL. What are you talking about? You don't know how he has it? That's a perfect resume for a guy that plays in the NFL. The fuck are you talking about? He's not a Hooters waitress. Matter of fact, if I ran an NFL team, if I was an owner, I'd look at their arrest records before I looked at their statistics in college. And if you don't have at least 2 felonies, you got to have at least 12 priors as far as guns go, or you're not playing for me. You want to be going up against a guy who fucking got a ticket for loitering? Or do you want somebody who... Obviously a kid, folks. The domestic violence shit, that should be an automatic... I don't mean to be a pussy, but that's an automatic if proven. Because a lot of this shit, there's women out there, money grubbers, who say he did this to me, did that, and it's not always true. But these pictures of LaShawn McCoy's... and again, it's all alleged, but people are saying that he might have sent somebody there to her house to get the jewelry back, and this girl's face was beaten. And if that proves true, that guy should never see a football field again. I know I'm taking a real tough stance there, but for Christ's sake. And there was a Patriots player today in the paper for domestic violence, and you got Pacman. And what the fuck? More calls. By the way, the number, I haven't given it out in a while, 888-599-6425. Let's go to Nelson in Philly. Wants to talk about the Pacman fight. Nelly, what's up?
Hey, Nick. Nick, how you doing, brother?
What up, Nelly?
Hey, what's up, man? How you feeling, man? I'm glad I'm on this show, man. Listening to you for a long time.
I appreciate
it,
man.
That fight reminded me of the scene that... No problem, man. Big fan, man. And I'm one of the only Puerto Ricans that vote just like you.
Actually, there's a lot of them. People don't realize that. Fucking the Hispanics work
hard.
I
guess we're keeping it hitting it.
Yes, you are. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's true, too.
How do you feel about this?
But anyway, the Pacman fight?
Yes.
The fight kind of reminded me of the scene out of King of New York with Lawrence Fishburne when he threw down that back of chicken.
I don't remember. I got to be honest with you. I saw that a long time ago. He threw what?
That's what I thought it was when he dropped down that Popeye's chicken. I thought I was watching King of New York for a minute. I was like, check this out.
I was a little disappointed. Again, Pac-Man's got his broad hanging on him. That's the first way you get killed if your chick's holding your right arm. But they both. There was terrible form there. Not that I'm a good boxer, but I mean, what happened to a straight right and a hook? These guys it look like a pillow fight at a goddamn black girls' sorority, as opposed to a male sorority.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought too. That's all, I don't know, but then didn't he try to wrestle one time too? So I guess he's transmitting his wrestling skills on there too now.
Oh, I don't know, Pac-Man. I don't know, but he's been in a lot. And here's the funny thing: I'm not making this up, Nelly. The NFL. They do this now. For the last few years, they have a veteran come in and talk to rookies coming into the league. I'm not making this up about how to behave off the field and shit. Who was one of the guest speakers? And I'm not making this up. You can look it up. Fucking Pac-Man. Woo!
No, for real?
I swear to God. I guess the thinking being he's been in enough trouble and done enough things wrong where he could actually help people out. But they brought in Pac-Man Jones.
There's something wrong with the black man's mind. There's something wrong with his mind.
There's something wrong with everybody's mind. Don't get all fucking in a huff if you hear that out there. But there's Pac. Let me tell you, and again, besides the violence and shit, the guy can play football like he's been around for a long time, this dude.
Well, yeah, of course, because he keeps getting suspended.
That's a good point. That's a good point. When you miss half the season because of assault, your legs seem to stay fresh.
Yeah, well, of course. He'll probably play till he's 70, man, if he keeps getting suspended like that.
Well, congratulations on the Eagles beating my Patriots, Nelly. I gotta go. I got a bunch of calls here, but good to hear from you, pal.
Hey, I'm a Giants fan.
All right. Fuck the Eagles. All right, take it easy. Yeah. For the love of Pete. What the hell else did I want to get to? I started with this yesterday, and then Jay threw in his stupid yoke joke. Jay's listening now. Right now, he's in his RV giving me the finger. He's on vacation, by the way. I don't know. He left, when did they leave? This morning? Probably about 4 a.m. Did he say what time? No?
Yeah, about 3 a.m.
About 3 a.m. And what's scary is he's leaving from Connecticut. He just called in. They're only in Massachusetts right now. Real lead foot on that fella. I got a few minutes left in the show, but I wanted to get into this this girl. I mean, this woman. Did I say girl? Jesus Christ! Apparently, she got molested by an off-duty pilot on United Airlines. She woke up to that. And hey, who hasn't, huh? Twinks. But I started to tease this fucking thing, and the pilot, off-duty pilot. And I read this thing, and he touched her like 3 times, okay? He was drunk. Monty Wendell is the pilot. He had 3 or 4 vodka sodas. Jesus, real heavyweight, huh? Turns into a rapist after fucking Lime Ricky. He told a flight attendant that he had been away from home for 2 months. He missed his wife, so fuck it. I miss my wife. I'll grab that chick in 3A. And he said he was horny. So the woman is suing United Airlines for failing to protect her from a drunken passenger who molested her on a long-haul flight. Ann Dowling says she fled fled her business class seat when she awoke to find Monty Wendell rubbing her crotch and masturbating under a rug. Under a rug? That's not too obvious. Hey, why does that guy in 2C have a fucking 12 by 14 area rug over his lap? Why does it look like a tent? So he was masturbating under a rug that he had on his lap from Hong Kong to San Francisco. That's a long flight. I went from Hong Kong to San Francisco. I must have finger popped 2-3 broads that night. And I had 2 Diet Cokes. Take it down! She says she reported 47-year-old Weddle to a flight attendant, but was told to resolve the incident by returning to her seat to go talk to her attacker. That's what their advice was. That was part of the suit. Cabin crew eventually moved Dowling to another seat further along the same row. However, Weddle, a veteran freight pilot with FedEx, continued to torment her as she got off the flight. But here's the thing. She woke up twice. Once he was touching her leg. Another time he had his hand like on her lap. And she didn't move. She just said, "What are you doing?" And stayed in the seat. By the way, he was cleared of these charges. So when I first read this, I'm like, how the fuck was he cleared of charges? But she had 2 chances to fucking move. Now, I'm not saying she's guilty, blah, blah, blah. I'm not trying to defend this guy's behavior. But she had 2 chances to fucking move and didn't. So when I read that he was cleared of the charges, and again, and then there'll be a civil suit and whatnot. But Jesus, I'm starting to feel bad. I mean, a woman falls asleep. These stories are coming every week. Somebody wakes up, a guy's gnawing in your nipples. Fellas, take it down a goddamn notch. My next question was, what kind of vodka was that? But, criminal assault complaint was filed on December 5th, District Court in Northern California. But on June 7th the following year, he was acquitted of all charges. The 2 travelers ended up sitting side by side when United's upgraded Dowling from economy to business class on the 13-hour overnight flight to San Francisco International Airport, which tells me she was probably good-looking, because I read that's what they do. They upgrade the good-looking people. If you're sitting there and you get, a glass eye and a hair lip, they're like, "No, we got seat 66G for you, right by the shitter. Get back there. Here's a grilled cheese." Dowling says she woke to find Wendell's hand on the back of her leg near her buttocks. She removed his hand and fell back asleep. Now, let me ask you a question, broads. I mean, women, chicks. If you wake up, you find the guy's hand on your ass or your thigh, are you going to fall back asleep? I'm sorry, but I'd like to be his lawyer instead of hers. She then awoke a second time to find his balls on her forehead. She still stayed. No, I'm exaggerating. She woke a second time to find his hand rubbing her thigh and grabbing her butt. And attempting to reach into her pants. She cried stop and withdrew his hand from her body. She asked him what he was doing, and he creepily smiled at her in response. The complaint alleges. Dowling says she woke a third time. That means she didn't move after the first... am I being sexist here or whatever? Next thing you're going to tell me she was in a string bikini. But can I ask you, ladies, after the first time, would you not insist? If they said, go talk to the guy and try to straighten, what would you say? Go fuck yourself. You talk to him. I'm standing in the aisle the rest of the flight. I don't care if it's 23 hours. But twice she woke up, he's touching her. So I'm guessing he's kind of, I saw the picture. He's not a bad looking guy. We have a better picture of him actually. But look, we have a picture of him on a ski slope with his wife or whatever. But that's him. That's him driving an Uber right there. And no. But young guy, drunk, misses his wife. My point being, if I woke up and a girl was touching my ass and leg, I'd go right back to sleep and hope it continued. But not a girl. That's sexist. But I'm just saying, now I understand. She asked him what he was doing, creepily smart. Dowling says she woke up a third time to find Wendell's hand running up her thigh. This time he began rubbing her vagina through her clothes while rapidly masturbating underneath his blanket. What happened to the rug? She wakes up a fourth time, he's got a parachute over his lap. And then a bow tarp, and it continued. For the love of Christ, after the first time, crack him in the face. I'm saying that as a guy who got hit in the face by unjustifiably so. I wasn't rubbing anybody's clit on a plane. I was telling jokes at a club. But I'm just saying, ladies, not that you're asking for it, but after 3 times, I'm guessing she was a little horny herself. That's what he thought. Dowling shot out of her seat the 3rd time in shock when she realized what was happening and told Wendell to stop. So, whatever. She gathered up her belongings, but asked for a different seat. Wendell said the words to the effect of, I think you're horny and I'm horny too. Dowling got out of her seat, approached United flight attendant, asked to move seats because of the assault. Said there were no seats on the plane. She ended up being strapped to the wing for the rest of the flight. Anyways, even after they got off the plane, he pursued her. So this guy's a real creep. I like to hear from the wife. In a thinly veiled attempt to minimize, disregard, and ignore the assault, Wendell continued his torment of Dowling by approaching her as she was leaving the plane and asked why she moved seats. Because there was a draft. Why did you move your seat? I don't know. I get hit in the face with cum twice. This guy's psychotic. She filed her civil suit last week, accusing him of initiating harmful offensive conduct. Now she's got post-traumatic stress disorder and all that shit. Whatever. I mean, really? I don't buy that shit either. So waking up with some guy touching you is the same as a World War II veteran watching his friend get his head shut off. It's the same. I guess it's the same now. You're that traumatized by guys acting like pigs. Anyways, the point being is you should have moved the first time, even if you had to stand the rest of the flight, if you were that bothered. That's just my take on it. All right, kids. I'll take one more call before we go. I hope it's about this subject, And let's see. Of course not. Maryland, it's off subject, but it's the last call of the day. Joe Rogan versus Alex Jones. Please tell me it was a discussion and not a fight. John.
No, it wasn't a fight, Nick, but
what's up?
It was close enough. Nick. Hey, how you doing, Nick? I'm a big fan of yours, but Alex Jones and Joe Rogan have been going at it for the past 2 weeks. Joe Rogan had a podcast with some guy and said George Soros wasn't a Nazi, apparently. He was captured by the Nazis, but Alex Jones disagrees, and they've been at war for the past 2 weeks. Alex Jones made almost an hour-long video about Joe Rogan. You should have the rats in the back look it up. It's really funny.
An hour long? Nothing's that fucking interesting. But, so Joe Rogan...
Yeah, exactly. He really killed the subject.
So wait a minute. So Joe Rogan was defending Soros or just defending that he's not a Nazi?
You know how he rides the fence. It kind of sounded like he was defending him and it was against him at the same time. But, from my point of view, it sounded like he was sucking his balls.
Boy, that's quite a view you had. Anyway, I'll have to check that out, John, because I hate George Soros, and I tend to believe he is a fucking Nazi, and I love Joe Rogan, so...
Yeah, he is.
And so I'll have to talk to Joe about that. I asked Joe... I texted Joe to call in the first day. I didn't hear back. But, a guy's got 19 businesses and $400 million in the bank, and I'm sure he's a little busier than I am. But I'll check that out. Maybe we can talk about it tomorrow, John. I appreciate the call, buddy.
All right, thank you, man.
I'll talk to you soon. All right. That's about it, kids. I think that's about it. Let's see. Did I cover, again, my tour dates real quick? You can go to nickdip.com or wherever. I'm sure they're up somewhere. But Wednesday, July 18th and 19th, that's next week, Village Underground, New York City. Wednesday, the 25th and the 28th, which is attached to the Village Underground, the Fat Black Pussycat. Friday, September 14th, the Arlington Draft House, one of my favorite gigs, Arlington, Virginia. Saturday, September 15th, Arlington Draft House, Arlington, Virginia. Friday, September 21st, Orpheum Theater in Flagstaff. Saturday night, I'm doing something for a festival. I don't have the venue yet. And then that Sunday, September 23rd, House of Comedy in Phoenix. I believe those have been confirmed. I hope so. We're advertising them like they have been. That is it. Jay, I hope you're enjoying your vacation, and hope you and the wife aren't on the side of the road beating the shit out of each other and come show up in some viral video.
I want all of you to enjoy your cake. So, enjoy.
Nice job by the two young fellas in it. They grew up with this shit. They marinated it. It took them 2 seconds. I can't even open in my email, for Christ's sake. I'm severely retarded. And that's it, I guess.
Thanks, Nick.
You got it, guys. You were smooth as silk. I think Jay would be proud of you. If he was in there right now, he'd be touching both of yous.
I'm a little glad he's out of here now.
All right, kids. See you tomorrow, I guess. Take care of yourselves. Remember, you think it, I'll say it. Bye-bye.